ways. Good. So we're moving on to Indonesia. Um, this which apparently features Asian Obama, um, and it's where Gordon Ramsay was born. He's Indonesian. If you didn't
Yes.
know, um, Indonesia. I mean, it's quite big. I think that's just my takeaway from whenever I guess, and I'm like a billion miles away. Um, so I mean, who? What? I mean, we've had RC, we've had 90. I know you've done a lot of talking, Ed. Who wants to take this one? Whoever wants this one gets it.
I mean, we can change up.
I mean, if no one else wants to, I can do it.
Let's go, RC.
Okay. So they use Latin script, and they have like Indonesian, which is almost the same as Malay. There's just like slight differences. I think there's like some loan words from Dutch, whereas Malaysian has loan words from English, but otherwise they're almost the same language. And Indonesia has Gen 3 and Gen 4. So there's a lot of Gen 4 coverage now. Like a lot of the new coverage that came this year was mostly like in Indonesia and Malaysia. And for which cars there are in Indonesia, so in Gen 3, you have the black and the white car, which are the top two cars that you can see there. And then in Gen 4, there's a black car, and there's like a whitish, silverish car. So I don't know if there's any sort of meta for where the black car is. I know like a lot of times people say black car is Sulawesi and Borneo, but I have seen it in like Java as well, so I don't think
Yeah,
it's
it's in
really
Java as well.
meta.
The only thing you can be sure of if you see a Generation 4 black car, it's only in Indonesia.
Yeah. Right. And interesting thing about the road lines. So in that picture, you see yellow lines. Before 2019, Indonesia only had white lines, white center lines, but they changed it like very recently. So now it has yellow lines as well. So you may see yellow on like Gen 4, whereas you'll see like white on Gen 3. Or you could still see some roads with white on Gen 4. It just depends. And their plates are black with like white writing, so a lot of times that can help. Although Malaysia also uses those, and as we saw in Singapore, some of the cars do have black plates as well. Yeah, and when you see it on a car, it kind of looks like whitish, but there's like a lot of white and black, so
Yeah.
it is a black plate actually. And they do have a lot of ads, a lot of cigarette ads. I know Indonesia has a really bad problem with like cigarette smoking. Um, I think I saw like a documentary once. There were like a bunch of like 12-year-old kids who were like smoking like a pack a day.
That's mad.
Yeah.
I think that's the same in Scotland. So I mean, they got that.
Oh,
I don't know. We might need to
shots
ask
fired.
Sim on that one. And then a lot of motorcycles as well. They love their motorcycles in Indonesia. And on the on like ads sometimes, not really on ads, but mostly on like billboards, you do sometimes get like city names or kabupaten names. So kota is the word for city in Indonesian and in Malaysian as well. So if you see kota, that's the city. So you're looking for a city named Kota blank, and then kabupaten is the province, or like it's a subdivision of a province. Again, those don't come up on the Google map, and there's like hundreds of them. I think
It's like a
I
county
think
in the US or something.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like a county, yeah. I think I don't know if they're really memorizable. I know Granis like memorized the Malaysia ones, but even he was having trouble with like Indonesian ones just because there are so many of them. So I don't know if they're really useful to memorize, but definitely look for the kota. That one can be very helpful. And sometimes they do mention the province, so you'll see like Jawa, Tenggara, or like Sumatera or stuff like that. So or Kalimantan on the signs. So you can look for that because they do tell you like the island name or the province name.
And those are on Google Maps, right? The province names, even the
Yeah.
islands that are divided into multiple. You can even find the borders, like the way you find it in US. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit easier than Philly.
Yeah, funny how they've got it
Definitely.
right for Indo, but not Philly. But well, I don't know if we'll ever know the reason. I just quickly on the cards. It's something I have used to some success before, which is obviously the black card. But obviously, there's also coverage with white. I know Simraj was asking in the chat about the kind of prevalence of the black versus the white cards. Is there anything to kind of help direct you? Do you see one more than the other?
I'd say it's about half and half in Indonesia. I've seen both. And then for Gen 4, I really don't. I tend to not use the car for Gen 4.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah, but
you can see
if
like
you
a
see
black.
it's Gen 4 and see a black car, you immediately know you're in Indonesia.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the only thing.
Sweet. We ready to check out some locations?
There's just one thing about the motorbike photo here. Indonesia has front license plates on motorbikes. This is one of the very few countries that does this on Geoguessr.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
think
interesting.
the others are probably I think Sri Lanka and maybe India. So, but yeah, in Southeast Asia is the only one. And Google recognizes it and blurs it. And to be fair, it can be very useful if you're like in a rural area and you see like a bike with like a license plate blurred out in front. It's most probably Indonesia. I know that since I started publishing this quote unquote meta, some people complain, but yeah, what happens is like Indonesia, especially in the rural areas, there's multiple bikes that don't even have the back plate. So like, of course, they don't have the front plate in some cases. But
I've
yeah,
never
like
complained. It has helped me in 100% of all the cases.
yeah, but yeah, I know some people. Some people, yeah, I received some formal complaints, and the other thing I even noticed here in Vietnam is that because Indonesia is like the largest country, they are also the largest producer of scooters, and sometimes the scooters, because they are made in Indonesia, they have the brackets. So like sometimes a Vietnamese guy sees those brackets and he puts like I don't know his mother photo or something, and the same in Philippines, and Google recognizes it and blurs as well because I think Google's AI looks for the bike, right? So like sometimes you may see in Vietnam or Philippines some blurred front license plate, which is actually not a license plate. It's just like something silly the guy is doing. But yeah, it's like it's by the law they need license plates on the front of motorbikes. It's different than Malaysia on that matter. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Thanks for that little tip. That's really, yeah, quite an interesting little bit, kind of little bit of meta there, little fact. So, going to open up the first location. Here we go. So, typical Indonesian hat on the banner, red government license plate. Haha, there we go. So this is the typical hat that I'm referring to.
Yeah. You can see this all over Indonesia on posters, on advertisements, on political posters. People with that square hat, I want to say, they have a special name. I don't know what it's called. If you see such a hat, such a black hat, that is Indonesia.
Yeah, it's quite unique. What's the what's the main religion here?
Islam.
Islam, yeah, because this is
Depends on the
was.
island though, because
Oh, okay.
Sumatra, Java, Borneo, and Sulawesi are like majority Islam, but Java or not Java, sorry, Bali is majority Buddhist,
Hindu.
and then
No, Hindu, I think.
yes, Hindu. Sorry, Hindu. And then the far eastern islands, like
Yeah,
not
the
sure exactly which
Lusas
ones. I
and
know Timor
Timor.
is. Yeah, those ones are majority Christian.
Ah,
But in
interesting.
general, because Indonesia has such a high population, they are considered the largest Muslim country in the world.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. A little pineapple cart there. Oh, and then here's the license plate that you were referring to. So this is
Yeah,
a
and a red license plate you see only on government owned cars.
government-owned card. Interesting. Okay, right. Next location it is. We've got an Indo Marat, which I'm sure means market of some sort, something along those lines. Is this quite a common shop?
You see
Yeah.
them all over in Indonesia, in rural places, in small villages, in big cities.
Yeah, the colours are quite recognisable.
Yeah, this Insta stuff is probably a cigarette. That's how. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
this it's kind of insane because sometimes it's ads, but sometimes it's like almost like portals and arches to cities, small towns.
Really?
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how they
And on
work,
that
right? Like
location, we have another cigarette ad. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Insta Cancer, I think that one's referring to. This is the Indonesian space program right here. They're just one of the rockets they're building it. It's just one way
My
you can.
space mask.
Space mask, yes, space mask. um, Susan Salon there as well.
There's an Indonesian satellite dish, similar to a Brazilian satellite dish.
yeah.
In between, you can see through. Also found in Thailand, though.
Interesting. Okay. Da, da, da. So another location. So we've got a highway sideline, and we're also looking at some Generation 4, I believe.
Yeah, that's the black Generation 4 car, and the middle line of one driving side nowadays in Indonesia is always one single yellow line. The outer line not, but the inner line is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
interesting.
that's what I was talking about with like they changed it from white center line to yellow center line recently. So you'll only see it on Gen 4.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is very March 2020. This is fresh coverage.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the new coverage that they did this year, they didn't really get to do a lot of coverage this year, obviously, because of COVID, but a lot of the coverage that they did is in Indonesia and Malaysia.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, this is just a I don't know. I think I could see myself dropping like Brazil or something on this for some reason. I don't know. It's just the kind of yeah. It's just quite. I guess it doesn't look like the typical locations. I personally feel that like Indonesia, but obviously there's a couple of things to factor in there. The black car, the Gem 4. Obviously you've got the different types of vegetation and stuff like that, and obviously the details about the road lines there.
Also, that inner single yellow line on a highway I've only seen in Indonesia. Either they have yellow lines in the middle or on both sides, or two yellow lines in the middle, but never seen one single line on the inside.
I think it's because it's divided. Because on U.S. interstates, you also see like the single yellow line on the inside. Because the other yellow line is on the other side of the road.
Mm.
Ah, I see.
Okay, interesting. Well, talking of yellow lines, that brings us to our next location. We've actually got a yellow center line here.
This is not exclusively one straight yellow center line. It can also be a dashed line. Yeah.
Do you think we can just go up the road?
This one's interesting because it's Gen 3, but as you can see, it's August 2019. So I guess they took this Gen 3 like really late, and that's why there is yellow lines on this Gen 3.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that can be a tricky location, I guess.
Yeah, but you have Indo flags there. Indonesia likes to put their red and white flags out, so
Right,
You can
Yeah,
notice the front plate on the bikes here as well. Oh, I think all the bikes here, they had the front license plate. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a lot of flags out. Yeah, you're right. That's I mean, I think I read an article one day. They just said big fans of Geoguessr. We start putting the flags out, help the guys get a better score. So, shout out the support there. Really, I think it was like Geo was had a word with the government or something like that. I think there was some sort of arrangement. Moving on to our next location. So this is a town office, but also features the entire address.
Yeah, that is typical. You can say it's the equivalent to a town hall, as we call it. It's a kantor. You see that in the center of every Indonesian village, city, town. Doesn't matter if you see the word kantor, it's Indonesia, and the kantors often feature the whole address.
Yeah, definitely go either for those or sometimes in rural areas like schools may have the full addresses as well in a very similar fashion.
Mm.
Yeah, going for public buildings seems to be the key for pinpointing in Indo.
Okay, and I guess this location we've got the white dash road lines. Yeah, so a little bit difference there as well. I'll just show this on the map quickly. Yeah, so down here, central or near central Java. Cool. We've got another one of Geoguessr top trumps. We've got a rare Indonesian road sign. Is this more or less rare than the Filipino bar car? How many points is this clocking in?
I think less rare, but still rare.
Yeah, sometimes you have to travel 10, 20 miles or kilometers to see such a sign.
They can be very old, yeah.
Yeah, in
this one is a very good one, yeah.
Just on junctions of big roads. You don't see them anywhere on normal roads.
Yeah. So yeah, a bit more reserved for, a little bit more sparse than you'd probably see elsewhere. I guess we've got an example of this kind of black and white curb. Obviously, I mentioned that in Singapore, but I think, again, this is an example of there might be some similarities.
But also a middle yellow dashed line
yeah.
from April 19.
Yeah, 2019.
Same for Malaysia, yeah, black and white, yeah.
Yeah, definitely some similarities, but it's about picking up on those other clues.
Here you can see the front license plate very easily, right? Yeah, on the bike.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, interesting. That's a really didn't know that.
Both of them, yeah.
Cool. That's the sign. Yes, Granis was still going. There is a lot to cover. I told you guys when we started this up. I said we're not messing about on this one. Don't forget, just last week we were doing Oceania. This week the boys have got this out. it can't be understated. Okay, the amount of work that's gone into this is incredible. So we've got subdivisions of Indonesia. I think this is looking at the provinces. And now you were saying earlier that the provinces are actually well documented on the map for Indonesia. So this is actually
They
quite
are,
useful.
and on the provinces you can see Indonesian names for different directions, such as east, south, west, north. That's some
Center.
information. Yeah, you can really use for Indonesia, not only for the provinces, especially for the provinces, but also for some smaller regions. When you see, for example, the name Utara, that means north, such as on Borneo, Kalimantan Utara, that's the north district of Borneo. Or when you see Timur, that means east, such as Nusa Tenggara Timur. But Tenggara also means southeast, so that means Nusa, southeast, east.
Yeah. But yeah, I think only knowing north, south, east, west, east, and center really helps you well, because like in Google Maps you have those names, but they're in English. So and the signs are never in English, right? They're not calling East Java. They're saying Java Timur. So if you remember those five, you can probably find the province quite quickly.
Definitely. Or there's Selatan, which means south, or Barat, which means west.
What is center? Center is Tenga. I think it's
Tenga,
Tenga,
yeah.
right?
Tenga is center.
Center, yeah.
Sweet. Wow.
Definitely easier than Philippines.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Also a really helpful word in Indonesian, also in Malay, because those languages are similar, is jalan, or shortened JL, that means just street.
Right.
If you don't know what jalan is, that is a street.
Brilliant. Okay. Right, I think it's time to move on from Indonesia. I believe that was all of our locations and the little map there with the provinces on. Yeah, Jesus, big old place. We're marching on. We're heading towards the end, guys, but some more information to go through